Hey everyone, I'll be covering all of the Nintendo Switch's game announcements for the 4th week of August, so let's get started. In Ghost Runner, you play as a cyber agent and the only capable of fighting in both the physical world and in cyberspace. Thrown into the middle of a global conflict, survive intense first-person combat encounters, and whenever possible avoid them using stealth. Ori and the Blind Forest is finally set to release September 27th. After a series of devastating events, the Forest of Nibel is dying. An unlikely hero must journey to find his courage and confront the darkness plaguing his home in this visually stunning action platformer. Super Hot is the first-person shooter in which time only moves when you move. No regenerating health bar and no ammo drops. It's just you, outnumbered and outgunned, grabbing weapons of falling enemies to shoot, slice and maneuver through as a hurricane of slow-motion bullets and enemies approach you. Evolving the skating game genre to a whole new level, Skater XL lets you experience board control like never before. Take real-world locations and style your tricks any way you want, but know that no trick will ever be performed the same way twice. Shadow dropped in the eShop, Hotline Miami collection is a bundling of both top-down pixel art high-octane action games set in an alternative 1989 Miami, where you play as a mysterious anti-hero who's constantly going on murderous rampages against the shady underworld with a diverse set of weapons in his arsenal. Risk of Rain 2 is a co-op roguelike action classic multiplayer experience where no run is ever the same, with randomized stages, enemies, bosses, and items. Play solo or team up with up to 4 friends local or in online and find a way to escape the planet. Bandai Namco is bringing Little Nightmares 2 to the Switch next year. This time set out into the world together to discover grim secrets awaiting you while you're fleeing for the monstrous residents out to capture you. Discover exotic islands, explore ancient ruins, jump into tombs to see what's down there, or simply stroll around towns to hit up the arcade, the bar, or do some shopping in the action-adventure game Touryst. The beautifully detailed and charismatic adventure game with RPG elements, Eastward brings John and Sam together to embark on an emotional journey to discover the strange truth about her origin and the mystery behind the sinister creatures that have descended into town. Take control of one of the most technologically advanced armies in Imperium in Warhammer 40,000 Mechanicus, a turn-based strategy game with over 50 handcrafted missions where the path you choose will forge your experience. Streets of Rage 4 is finally confirmed for a Switch release. The side-scrolling brawler is an homage and a revival of the classic series with hand-drawn animations, new combat abilities, and a fresh take on some series favorites. The puzzle platforming paint adventure game Youropa breaks conventional rules and thinks outside of the box. Explore a fragmented city floating in the sky to learn who you are and how you fit into this weird world's perspective. Take control of a colony and govern it any way you want as long as you keep the money coming in. Develop production chains, trade routes, engage in war or be peaceful, as long as you don't forget that the rival nations will eventually try to hunt you down in Port Royale 4. Introducing new gameplay and story elements to breathe new life into the characters and an unprecedented level of immersion in this haunting adventure game, Remothered Broken Porcelain is set to release next summer. Briefly shown off at Gamescom, Farming Simulator 20 is hitting the hybrid console next summer. While details are scarce, first impressions are that it's playing much better than previous entries. Listed in the Japanese eShop for a September 5th release, Morrow Chronicles Hyper is a dungeon-crawling RPG that originally released on the Vita but never in the West. This is a direct sequel to Morrow Chronicles Hyper, and no Western release by Idea Factory is expected. In Dungeon Defenders Awakened, you play as 4 plucky heroes charged with defending treasure deep within the dungeon. Experience the front lines of tower defense, solo or with friends locally or online, and see who can amass the most loot. Red Wings Aces of the Sky is a dynamic action game with arcade-like gameplay. Use your skills to take other pilots down while reliving wars past, pick between 10 historical warplanes, and take to the sky alone or with friends via co-op. The fast-paced 3D platformer with parkour gameplay at its core, Cyberhook lets you ride walls while fighting enemies and blasting blocks with a simple laser gun. Hurl forward in vibrant retrowave environments to test your reflexes. Experience a different perspective in each playthrough in Unlucky 7. Play as any of the protagonists to understand the world, and your friendships will decide your fate based on the decisions you make. The successful Kickstarter project for Fiction Spear is confirmed for a Switch 2020 release. This technical platformer is inspired by 90s classic beat-em-ups and gallery shooters with a touch of platforming. Playerless one-button adventure is a game set inside another game. Your character becomes self-aware as you only use one button to play. Deal with unexpected events as your protagonist jokes about his absurd perceived reality. Save all of the poor souls that have been trapped in the dream world and rest in pieces. Swing fragile porcelain figures through horrid nightmares without smashing into anything through 6 deadly worlds. Manage your very own space station maintaining 3 unique deck types while accommodating 8 different alien races in space-based Startopia. Defend against invaders and grow as much as possible. Famitsu has reported that a port of the classic PlayStation 1 game, Monster Rancher, is heading to the Switch. Breed, collect, and battle monsters that used to come from CDs, but this time around you'll be able to get them digitally through the game from a network database. The 2D procedurally generated platformer Earth and Night takes place in a dystopian future just after a dragon apocalypse. Jump and dash across the back of dragons on your way down to Earth in classic 2D side-scrolling levels. Roki is an adventure game inspired by Scandinavian folklore with touching narrative storytelling, an alluring art style, ancient puzzles to solve, and atmospheric exploration. Work together or against friends for your local co-op to complete levels in Brunch Club. Each level has a different set of mechanics where disasters are bound to happen. Play with normal or simplified controls for any newcomer to jump right in. Avoid being your own worst enemy in Hitchhiker. Travel the road and attempt to remember who you are and where you're going. The further you progress, the more clearer things become. Attempt to escape after an explosion's taken place in the Bradwell Stonehenge Museum and work together with an employee to make it out alive in the Branwell Conspiracy. Play as a one-handed blacksmith cursed with an incredible bad luck in Yaga. Build a reputation by helping villagers, unlock secrets, cast curses on enemies, and discover an engaging combat system. The silly physics-based anti-golf game What the Golf reinvents the game by not caring about the rules and instead adds obstacles, new mechanics from other sports, and humor to spice it all up. The physics-based tower building game Tower of Babel lets you build as high as you can but beware of your surroundings as anything can topple your masterpiece. Adopt up to 4 adorable puppies and take care of them as best as possible, but that's just the start. Once you get acquainted with Rainbow Bay, meet exotic dog owners in your area for a chance to romance and best friends forever. Batbarian is an action-adventure puzzler. Run through the shadowy depths of a cave full of perils and steeped within eldritch mystery. And that's what the game announcements will be covering this week. With Gamescom behind us, we look forward to PAX West and Tokyo Game Show in the upcoming weeks. And the ever-banging drama of a September Direct is starting to pick up pace. So with all that said, as per always, thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate the support and be sure to leave a like and subscribe and hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up. See ya!